So what inspired cell therapy as you brought it out?
Well, as you know, Soul Food, the album was not just about cell therapy. It was about a lot of things. It was about a lifestyle, the Southern lifestyle. But specifically that record, the reason why we came with that record, let's talk about how the first time you ever heard myself, you heard me on a song called Get Up, Get Out and Get Some with Outkast.
New Jersey
The other
Drive.
two brothers, Cujo and Timo, was on Call of the Wild. If you think about the combination of those two records, that became cell therapy. Not that we tried to, it was just that Organized Noise was in the studio mixing some records. And they ran across Busta Rhymes, and Busta Rhymes was reading this book. And Busta Rhymes gave this book to Big Rube, and Big Rube brought this book back to the house, back to the dungeon, called Behold of the Pale Horse. We read that, we all read that book. And in the next couple of days, we were called to the studio. And when we first heard that actual beat, that's when Cujo laid the hook. When Cujo laid the hook in the first verse, the story is over. We had read the book, and we used whatever we got out of that book. We took it and we made that verse specifically about the information and how we interpreted that book. And my interpretation of that book was the verse that I put down on Cell Therapy.
Wow. And that's, of course, the masterful book by William Cooper, who rests in peace. But a very powerful book.
Mm-hmm. That was one of the reasons why. That was one of the reasons why we used that book. And when you think about it, when we read that book, you know, it was so many different things around here. It was like, I remember this movie with Rowdy Piper in it, when it was talking about, you know, the people that you could see once you put the glasses on. You got to look that a lot of things that we were starting to talk about, they was putting in mute movies. Even, you know, it was another movie where it was talking about the people who was living under the city. Like, so many different movies and so many interpretations of that book was in kind of like popular culture. But at the same time, when we started talking about that and it started growing, it seemed like those kind of interpretations started leaving popular culture. Mm-hmm. They stopped talking about the Illuminati. They stopped talking about that there was these other forces that run the world. Well, now we all know it's all true, right? Now we get to see it's all true. Everything we talked about is all true. The computer chip that they wanted to put in you is all true. So if everything damn near that this man said in this book is damn near the truth, like we lived it. We have personally all been in the house in a quarantine. You cannot go outside. The black helicopters out there, the police, the armed forces in your city. We got to see everything that he talked about in the book. So if we've gotten to see that everything that he talked about in that book became true, then what's going to happen to the world in 20 more years?